All right, we're here. Did we make it? Are we live?
We're live.
We are so live. What is up, YouTube? Welcome to the Hi There Show. It is Thursday, August 5th, and we're back. It's a design show where we design everything.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
name is Nick Brunt. I am joined by certified UXist Ian Conrad.
Hello.
Are you there? Are we connected? Is the
Yep.
Zoom meeting
We
live?
online. We're zooming.
So yeah, thanks for tuning in. This is our design podcast where we talk UX and talks UI, and we're a few steps into our tip calculator, Tippy, a tip calculator for horrible people. we
Yeah, the tip calculator that's definitely not going to be named Tippy. That probably
mm-hmm.
is going to get named Tippy. Yeah. Well, if you're tuning in from last week, you're familiar with this. But if you're new, what happened? We started off with a bunch of ideas, and we wound up choosing this very cool tip calculator idea. But we of course have to jazz it up and see if we can reinvent tip calculators as they are today. And honestly, how can we jam a bunch of stuff into this to make it the most feature rich
Tip
tip
calculator you've
calculator
ever seen.
slash the most annoying tip calculator app?
Well, it's socially connected, fully transparent, gamified, microtransaction enabled. Really sort of span the feature list. I guess this all came from because we had a bunch of ideas. For some reason we ended up talking about this one for almost a full hour on that first episode. That part one you can go back and check out. But yeah, I mean, a tip calculator essentially is just a calculator. So
Yeah.
how do we get it? Just it does
So
like one simple, it just does what a calculator does. You can just pick up your calculator and do all those things. So I guess let's make it more complicated. Let's bolt things on. Let's disrupt the tip calculator industry. Let's make it
let's
a
make it
full
more
experience.
let's make it more complicated. I think most of the products that we use, that's really what people are thinking behind the scenes. It's like, how can we make this more complicated and
I
harder to
really wish
use?
this was more complicated.
Like you said, the tip calculator is just a calculator. It calculates a percentage of a tip, but we decided, let's zoom out and think of the problem as, how do we even know what we should be tipping in the first place? Like, what do we do here, especially given the situation provided by our fake client here?
Mm-hmm.
That they're in a group. They're with a group of people, so they have to
They're in a
decide.
group.
They have to deal
They're in
with
a
a
group.
bill that's got different people's orders on it. So maybe they're want to do some kind of equal splitting situation.
Well,
Then you
yeah.
also
What
have to
kind of
figure
group of
out what to
friends are
tip.
you? Are you the chill type that just says, "Oh, we'll split it four ways"? I feel like if you're splitting the bill, all right off the bat, you're already worried about what you ordered and how much it cost.
Hmm.
So how can we service that?
Yeah, and what's yeah, and along this sort of the user's journey of dining at a restaurant and dealing with the tip portion, where do we where do we insert ourselves into this nice intimate situation with friends or family, and make it so that you need to utilize our app.
Yeah, it's a full experience tipping app, start to finish. So we did an episode. We did the UX exercise and we mapped it out start to finish. This is, I guess, a user journey map, Ian.
Yeah. Yeah,
It is.
it's high level, but we wanted to like try and understand, like I said, where we fit in and where the opportunity is to ultimately collect the required data for the bill, and also
Mm-hmm.
information about what you care about in terms of your restaurant experience, so that we can help you figure out what you're going to leave for a tip here. So as you go through, we kind of created this scenario, and then how do we make it social? Like, where does that fit in? So we started off at the end of the meal, and then we said, once you finish your meal, you're going to receive a bill. The bill's on a piece of paper. So immediately
Mm-hmm.
we have our
This
app.
is your pitch, by the way. I'm I'm Kevin O'Leary. I'm part of the Shark
Oh
Force
no.
or whatever. You're here to present this to me. I have so much money. I'm interested. So go ahead.
Okay, I got this. Don't worry.
Hmm.
So we'll get to I want to explain how it works, and then we'll get to how we're going to turn this into a monetized business at the end. Ooh, I
Yes.
know that's what you like to hear.
Monetized businesses. Do go
Money.
on. Money.
Um, so we're going to we're creating an event, say, inside this app by adding the bill, scanning that
Hmm.
in, and that's going to itemize everything that's on the bill because we're going to need to use that to figure out some of the math here. But hold on for a second. So once this kind of bill is scanned into the app, then you've got to get it shared with the rest of the guests that are with you. So, we're thinking, maybe I'll zoom just out a bit here. Some kind of once the bill is scanned in, say, some kind of uh, fancy QR code style
Are you
system that we can
frantically digging for a QR code to put on screen right now?
exactly flash up on the screen.
So we need a way. It's a table experience, right? We know that the user is sitting there with other people. Um, so a visual hyperlink, a physical, not physical. I mean, technically it's a physical hyperlink, but it's not really. But a physical hyperlink is a good way to just scan people into your event. I would think too, Ian, with the way that QR codes work, people are going to scan that with their camera, and we can either send them to the website to get the app
Yeah,
if they
or
don't have it on their
hopefully,
phone,
yeah, exactly. It should
or we
open
can
in the
drive
app.
them to the app. So with that QR code, you have some sort of onboarding process there.
Yeah, and so we've got, probably a lot of people having to download an app, so that's great. That's a
Yeah,
great experience.
work.
Uh,
That's our
get
onboarding.
everybody
Okay.
downloading the app, and then you kind of, you're in here. Then it's the fun group activity of um, sort of itemizing and deciding, what you paid, what you had, and figuring out, how you're going to pay for this. Is it, kind of split up percentage wise based on what you got, and then you're going to pay for those items, and then also we're getting to the tip part. But here comes the
So
fun part, and
everybody
here's the real opportunity. Sorry, go ahead.
everybody in the room has to like pick off the items that they bought or that they're willing to pay for, and you sort of get this visual readout. You can see people doing it. um, you can't progress until everybody agrees to pay for something, or
Yeah,
like the bill is tallied or whatever. Anyway,
it's
keep
all
going.
got to
Tell
be
me about the fun part.
everything's got to be accounted for. Now, okay,
Tell me
cool. Now
about the
that we've
fun
got the,
part, Ian.
now we've, well, I mean,
i
honestly,
have the I have
up until
so much
here,
money.
this is,
That's what Kevin
I
O'Leary
honestly
sounds
think
like.
this has been really fun so far.
Hmm.
With QR codes and the social aspect, but
I'm having fun. I'm fucking jacked. I'm
yeah,
waiting
good.
to
I'm
pay for my
feeling it.
bill. I'm feeling
And
it hard.
but now here's the fun, here's the unique part of how do we figure out what people care about in terms of um, sentiment about their meal. And
Hmm.
there's a ton of opportunity here, and this is what we're going to spend a lot of time on today, working through a bit more is sort of this kind of profile building and figuring out what you care about. We looked at a lot of some dating apps like Tinder and Bumble that have this really fun swiping interface that everyone's super into. We can
Hmm.
be asking people questions about whether they care about something or not. We looked at Uber Eats and delivery services, giving ratings, and then kind of tagging, whether what you thought about here, like good portions, if it's tasty, or maybe if it's not so good.
It's sort of a twofold function. So it's a fun quiz game you do with your friends. Everybody gets asked the same questions, and everybody gets to give
Very fun.
their own answers. Um, so for the user, this sentiment exercise, this fun swiping quiz game, spits out a value with which you should tip for this meal based on how you felt about it. On the other side of that, we're using the answers of these questions to gather information about how people feel about certain foods that we can use to, I don't know, surface deals later, sell this whole thing to Uber.
Yeah,
For
that data is valuable to somebody for whatever reason, so that's great.
mm-hmm.
It's going to be fun for us.
We are going to sell the data to everyone.
We get data about you. We get data about the restaurants. All of these.
Oh,
qualities, like
exactly.
food,
Because when you
service.
agree, you agree to those location services, right? We know what restaurant you're in, whether you've told us or not. Whether the bill scan can tell or not.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, all of it, all that data is going to be
Yes, I'm
read on the bill.
interested, Ian.
Mm-hmm.
With
Tipped, and the best part, Mr. O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, are tip diamonds. It's an
mm-hmm.
in-app currency that lets people spend their money in the app. Um,
I yeah. So
they get tip diamonds.
when you tip, you get tip
I forget what
diamonds.
they're for.
Okay, hold on. They contribute toward your tip, but we had some scam worked out where it's like you're buying more than you're getting, but you feel like you're getting a lot, so you keep using them. But to use them, you need to buy more food.
Yeah, you can
So it's
never
like
really
sort of an
figure out
unending
how to spend
hellscape
them
of
all.
feeling like you saved $3, but actually spending $9.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love it. Okay, so is Canada's Kevin O'Leary, the guy from Shark Tank, really nicknamed Mr. Wonderful? It sounds like a
Yeah,
wrestler.
that's what he calls himself.
That's
It's hilarious, kind of,
brutal.
considering it's.
Who was the first person to call Kevin O'Leary Mr. Wonderful?
I'd be willing to bet that it was Kevin O'Leary.
I'd be willing to bet it was Kevin O'Leary.
It's kind of funny. Like he's a character until you realize that,
It's just, it's like the rich
he's in charge.
sociopath guy that's just like, God damn it, I am Mr. Wonderful now. And okay, Mr. O'Leary. That's great. That's great.
Kind of, yeah. It can kind of be satisfying when someone has a really brutal idea and he's just like, no, get out of here.
I don't think I've ever watched a show of any of those. It activates like all my cringe nerves watching somebody just flop on stage like so hard.
It can be pretty brutal. I will say, if you ever wanted to do a pitch for anything, watching that on repeat, or just binging it, you pick up on like patterns that are like all the same. And a lot of people fail because, and not really the purpose of this show, and we don't really have to figure out the business of how to monetize this, even though we say we'll just sell the data. That's why everybody fails. He's just like, it's not you don't have a business.
I see like young, energetic go-getters like selling like a cool straw. Do you know what I mean? And they're going through the script and they've got their hands out while they're talking and they're waving and pointing and they're going, like you say, like they're going through the script. They went to the seminar and now they're going to give a business pitch.
Yep. Well,
anyway, that's the Shark Tank minute where we dump on people from Shark Tank. Let's get back to our app. So there's tip diamond rewards, of course. We can work out the math on that one later.
But yeah, we're diving into we're trying to design today, right? We'll probably bounce between, as you design, the process is we did discovery last week and we kind of did some user journey. Obviously it's a bit rough. I did a bit of research and some inspiration here. Moving on to design, as is the process, but you always go back and forth a bit between. I find once you get into design, it kind of sparks questions or kind of interesting ideas that kind of punt you back into discovery to think about a bit more. But
and
it's the fun of it. It's the back and forth.
That is kind of the fun of it. I mean, the shtick I think is that that's the process you go through for a website or an app or anything. You have ideation and discovery and UX design and wireframe design and front end design and information architecture, and it goes on and on and on. But I guess we kind of wanted to use the show, one, to illustrate those steps, and two, just to sort of have fun with it, because this is what we do all the time.
If you're not having fun, then You're not having fun. It doesn't sound like good.
Yep. Good
That's
deep reflection.
so can I try that? Cut.
UX thoughts. I want to be trending on
Line.
Twitter under UX for that. It's just like, you know,
Yeah, I
man,
want
if it's not good, it's probably not what you should be doing. Just don't do it.
All right. Well,
All right.
What next? What's our immediate next steps? We got 5 minutes left in the meet. We got 3 minutes left in the meeting.
Actionable items. I would walk away. I would walk away from this and go, okay, you're agreed to this. This is how the thing should work. Now, normally in UX, this would be way bigger and longer and cover a lot more things, but it doesn't matter. I think that this works as a feature list for us right now. Like, we know what each panel needs to do. So we'll start making some iPhone screens.
Do you want to start?
I wish I could show you.
Like Tinder?
Figma has a slider in it for rounded corners.
Yeah.
And it marks the pip on the slider for iOS. Like, this is how iOS.
No way.
Yeah, like this is how far iOS like rounds their corners. I thought that was hilarious. Neat feature.
I'm trying it. Where?
I'm making some sort of mobile device.
How do you pip
obviously
it?
This is a phone experience. What?
How do you get the iPhone pip thing?
That's a good question. I saw it today. It was on like a slider for
there it is.
Corner radius. Did you actually find it? Cool.
Hold on, I'll show the stream in case everyone's always interested in how we do in Figma.
A little behind the scenes over here.
So I'll just select any random. This is coming at you. Probably won't even work because it's a component.
I'm looking at the stream right now.
Hold on. I'll make a rectangle. We'll go up to our corner radius. Click on this thing and that thing. The kebab. And then boom.
Yeah, okay. I see the UI. Cool.
iOS. It's a 60%, it looks like. 61%. Anyway.
Too much? Probably too much.
Why didn't it take? It didn't even... Corner... Oh, that's corner smoothing. The heck is that? I'm looking at the wrong thing. %60 corner smoothing. Wow, we're getting technical today.
All right. There we go. Spent 25 minutes making a basic shape here.
Corner smoothing.
Should we account for an iPhone here, perhaps? We'll do iPhone.
iPhone.
Break that out.
I have the Wii music stuck in my head. I must have heard it someone a video or something. Where it's like
oh, the shop music?
The waiting. Zoom. Okay, let's hide this UI of Figma. Let's get into it. Let's just get into it.
Let's dive right in.
So I guess some screens we're gonna need is maybe not the most fun one to design would be like scanning a receipt or a bill. I keep saying receipt, but you know what I mean. It looks like a receipt. The QR code is super fun. That's QR codes are QR codes, but how do we fun it up? That's the kind of thing you want to put on a pitch deck is a customized QR code. And then we've got all our social media, like your Tinder-y type profile question-y stuff.
And I would consider this kind of tough, like in terms of a product scope, because you're right. We do have like some very distinct feature sets, like the add to. I want to stroke that.
These would all be called like
the
epics.
Add new build to the app thing. That's an entire flow that deserves a bunch of attention and like has its own specialized features, which is cool. Like that's cool. It just takes time to map it out. Share with guests has its own flow. Select your food and drinks.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. Like each one of these is like a whole suite of features, what they call an epic, I guess, in the agile way of things.
Okay, now's
The
the
whole
design
sentiment.
part where we need good ideas and we have to fill them in and they have to be great.
Yeah, I have to be. Now we don't just get to talk about like ideas. The rubber meets the road, where as they say. Well, what would you
Well,
start? What would we start with?
I would think the way that I would start this.
Some sentiment. I'm gravitating towards sentiment.
No, I think we should start at the very first panel.
All right.
Panel.
I'll start thinking of sentiment questions in my head. Log in with Facebook.
No, but you log in. Users log in. I want to start a new session. So I'm sitting at the table.
All right.
What do I get that moves me forward? So I mean, just laying a bunch of buttons on the screen isn't always the best, but we would do CTAs. So scan bill. Feel free to edit this while I'm editing it. Like let's just hammer out a layout. Oh, I like it. I love it. Scan
this is
bill.
Figma. We're both working at the same time and also trying to talk. And
watch a stream quality.
Yeah, keep checking up on the stream.
Do we have any viewers? Do we have any viewers? We should take a moment to say if you have any questions or comments, or you ever want to suggest dumb app ideas, or even have a product or a website that you want us to review, because we're kind of thinking about sitting down and doing UX reviews on stream. Reach out to us. You can get us directly at the Hi There Show at gmail.com. You can also reach out to us on Twitter at Hi There Tweets. Ian is what are you? /Porcelain Duck. I'm /Nick Brunt. You can search us anywhere.
Yep. Yeah, let us know what you think about that.
Hit subscribe. It helps with the algorithm, and
yeah, subscribe. And if you'd like to watch us like look at apps or other websites and kind of critique them from a UX perspective, let us know, because we're thinking that might be kind of fun and also useful. You'd get if you have a small business and want a free UX review, and are willing to let us maybe make fun of something about your business, maybe not.
Yeah, it's all in
no
good
promises. At the end of it, we
do want to rip your existing website apart and then tell you how to do a better one.
Yeah, especially if it's like.
Is that so much to ask? Is that so much to ask? Ugh. YouTube?
I don't think so.
I don't think it's too much to ask.
Better than money. Receipt. Better than paying money.
Better than paying money.
The subject of our ridicule. All right, so scan the receipt.
I guess that's all you do. You land. It's a branded experience. So in wireframes, I would do something like this.
Yep. You know what? In this situation, wow, I keep saying receipt. What's your opinion on like doing anything but like lines and boxes inside for wireframes? What about putting like actual pictures, color?
It depends. For me, I know that there's a lot of talk around that. For me, it depends really on the file and the client and the situation and the timeline that I'm in. Like I work in the vendor space, so I mean, sometimes you have time and a budget and a bunch of circumstances line up, and you can have a slower roll with your wireframes and start with something that you would consider true napkin drawing. So just boxes and X's and circles and whatever to denote items on the page. For me, that almost never happens, and I'm thinking about the UI while I'm doing wireframes. I don't know if that's proper. I feel like a lot of UX people would say that's wrong, but like, hey, I mean, sometimes you have 3 weeks to do something, right?
You know
But
what? Like
what's the best process that you can install to make it happen there? And if it's wireframes that starts to look at layout and photography and stuff like that, then I'm okay with it. If that answers your question.
it does, yeah. I like that because I think that if you were to say like the UX purist way is you're right. Like it's supposed to stick to the basics, but I think at the same time you can't help but think ahead, especially as you do run through a few processes over the years, and you're just like
Yeah.
what's coming, and you can't help. I'm the same way. I don't get into the UI design as heavily, but yeah, I kind of can't help but start thinking about things like that, and even sometimes. So yeah, I agree with that. I think you know there's the spirit. It's more like there's the spirit of what the wireframes are trying to do. It's supposed to be quick. You're trying to figure
Mm-hmm.
out what's going on quickly. Um, but it doesn't say you can't toss anything in. And yeah, I agree. And in this case, like
There's
I've even used colors before, right? Because like sometimes like we were
mm,
doing status, and it's like okay, it matters if it's red or green. You know what I mean? Like
mm-hmm.
it doing that in grayscale just kind of looked stupid. And also because
Well,
I'm
I
taking
mean,
this, I've also done things like this where like someone's trying to take a picture of something, and then to show that we're taking a picture, I'll
I
put the photo in.
yeah, we'll get some picture UI on top of that too.
Yeah, and that's what I've done in the past where it's like I tried to make it literally look like a real app was open, kind of scanning a thing. I find people, sometimes non-designers, the people you're going to present stuff to need
Mm-hmm.
that, or they like it.
They
It's just like, oh, it's real, cool.
any designer who works in the web industry will tell you like they've presented wireframes at some point, and at the end of the presentation they go, okay, any questions? And the client goes, this is really great, but are we going to add color to it? There's not even real words on it. Like it's
Hmm.
meant to be a napkin drawing. I guess you have to let everyone know. I'm Another line that gets blurred there is we're working in Figma and XD and whatnot. um so we're doing these kind of napkin drawings right now, but what if we were doing this on an iPhone sized canvas and we were using, assets from the material kit, or, something like that that was a little more constructed and put together. Maybe you have a proprietary set of elements that you use to wireframe things. Then you're getting into some pretty substantial wireframes that you can actually use to aid your design process later, because you're building a design system, before anything else. And that's profound. Hi there, profundity alert. See me struggle through that one. Uh, what happened to my scan and receipt button?
I don't know what did happen to it.
All right, so you land on a branded
S-
presentation and you scan a receipt.
Scanned.
So I have some thoughts here. I think that we should letterbox the receipt in a picture window.
Letterbox. What's a letterbox?
Or maybe not letterboxed. I don't know if letterboxed refers to a specific ratio, but we're going to crop it. We're going to crop the view that you're getting from your camera.
Okay, gotcha. Boxing it in.
I want to mask the shape.
You can crop it.
Use as mask. What the hell is that all about?
Crop.
Raindrop. Drop top.
That's a good color.
Sitting in Figma. Uh, oh, you know what it is? I pull that. Fill color. Nope. Come on, Figma. This is like super basic stuff, guys.
So
Maybe if I paste a picture into that element.
if you get the picture inside of that, I think it might work.
Or I can just crop it with the frame. So we're going to crop that. We're going to add some guidelines because I would imagine whatever this recognition technology is going to have some like, needs in terms of like how you frame it up and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I do when I do the bank deposit with a
Oh, you
check.
do you? Ha ha
It
ha. That's on YouTube now.
uh-oh, I'm gonna get banned.
You're going to get banned,
Not
get
allowed to talk
fired.
about naughty subjects. Yeah, when I do the photo for the banking, it's what's on
Yeah, like
there?
when you
It's
take a
got
picture of a
that, and
check.
yeah, there's gonna be like a moment where it's not not in focus, and then it's gonna be like, good, I understand.
Suddenly, yeah.
It's in focus now, because if it can't read the whole receipt,
Do
then
you?
what are we even doing?
It's funny you mentioned that. Do you remember the dawn of QR codes when like it was kind of dicey? Like you had to like put your camera right in front of the QR code and it had to be framed in a thing and you needed a special app
You
for a
needed an
QR code.
app, and yeah, I don't think anyone knew what the hell they even were. Like that was
No.
actually like the research showed that even like no one knew what the fuck to do with them.
Yeah, it was something like 4% of users like actually knew what they were. Um, I feel like this crowd that we're talking to is maybe a little more savvy. Maybe.
Well, and it makes
Let's
more
just make that
sense.
assumption.
It the situation that we're using it in like is understandable because it's like it's not even like a mysterious code. It's like it's a thing that pops up inside our app, and then it says like get your friend to point their phone at this, right? So it's like
They can.
explicit. It's explicitly telling people how to use it, and like in the situations of like Snapchat and um, Spotify there that we had. I'm gonna zoom up to those. I think these are suitable. I can't believe I've done a turnaround on the QRs. I've actually done a 360 on them, not what people say and then actually mean 180. But I started off thinking they were awesome and cool, and then I was like, oh, they actually suck because nobody like uses them, and now they're kind of cool again and potentially useful. Will I flip flop
I've seen
again?
some neat applications. Spotify does it with their proprietary QR code designs. Like they're weird looking. And these would be too, I would think. They don't need to work outside of it, or perhaps they could, and that's where we drive traffic to like a download link if people don't have it. But you
Yeah,
do
there's
need to
kind
be
of
able
ways
to
to do that.
enter a room code.
Yes. Invite friends. We can change this after if there's another step in between. I'm just dropping some.
Or is it like scan a receipt, join a receipt? Join a receipt prompts you to give a room code. When you're taking a picture of your receipt, it's already generated a room code, perhaps? No, maybe it hasn't.
Yeah, that's what it should do. So once that's done, yeah, I guess there wouldn't be a button on here. Then we're gonna get so this is where the QR code would show up. I'm gonna do a little search. Fun QR code. Nope. Oh, there's all kinds of crazy QR code generators.
So you have to. Oh yeah, it's an easy thing now. When you scan them with your camera on your phone, you don't need to select anything. It just knows it's a QR code and it also does it instantly, like bizarrely quick.
It is pretty quick.
So
So is
on this
this
second step is really all I get is a camera and like take the picture.
Yeah, I think so.
you don't actually take the picture. It's again like those check apps where you're not hitting like a button to engage the shutter. It's your phone is scanning whatever it is, and once you meet its criteria, it stops.
Yeah. Yeah. It's doing it. It's
We
got
do
to
need some kind of
recognize.
we do need some kind of fuck off button in here. Fuck off, bud, as we say.
Cancel.
Cancel.
Break off. Leahy.
Tap 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 tap.
I was
I
going
like
to
to
get
have
a
my
QR
microphone
code
right
to
next to
drop
my
in.
keys so everyone can hear me being moderately frustrated with my keyboard. What?
I was going to get a QR code to drop in, but it's like, how do I know it's not something awful?
Make one?
Exactly.
You're like, exactly.
Oh,
It's
wait, hold
still
on.
something
Hold on,
horrible.
hold on. Wait.
Hey, here's a
can I do
fun
this?
UX question. Is it in this circumstance? I know it can vary. Is this a cancel or is it a back? Are we asking users to hit an X and kill a process, or are we telling them to back out? I think probably an X.
Probably an X. It's a good question, and I really do like those details. But
Yeah?
I think in
Like
this
getting you
case,
going, is it?
I'd be willing to bet either of those would work.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree with the X too.
Left or right corner?
I was gonna
Left
say
because it's harder
right.
to hit. Yeah,
Right
right.
is usually right's usually X and left is usually back on an iPhone anyway.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Left is always back.
I could see either way. If it was
I
back, I
don't
would say
see there
left for
need. I
sure.
don't see there being a need for a back button on here. What is your back button policy? What needs a back button versus what doesn't?
Anything that's not anything that's a browser, I don't think usually needs a back button.
No. 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 No.
Um,
I would say apps, maybe OTT devices like TV devices like Roku, Tizen, etc.
yeah.
I think it's anything that's not accessible by the main nav. Like if you obviously you can't do breadcrumb navigations on mobile, or maybe you can. So you do if you get into a spot that you're not able to like easily access, you need to be able to back out of there on your phone. Or at least on iOS, because Android phones all have a back button and that's what they're used to. The weird
Yeah, they
weird
usually
Android
do.
people with their weird they're all left-handed or something. Just weird. I don't know.
My browser generates QR codes. I forgot. Just has a
Can
button.
can we talk about these people's breakfast? I
Oh,
think it was two
I just
people.
grabbed this because it was called Bills, and I was like, oh, I looked for a
It's
bill or
Bill's Bill.
Bill's bill.
Hammersmith Grove, London. So 2 avocados on toast, extra bacon, totally,
Millennials.
totally. I mean, if you've got avocado on toast with bacon, that's like a meal. Pancake and syrup, 1 pancake and syrup. I would just like 1 pancake and syrup with extra bacon on it, please.
Oh, I was gonna say this must be
Latte?
3 guests, and it is. So
Is it?
three meals there. These are
Okay, that
cheap.
makes it feel better. That makes
One
it feel better.
pancake,
Well, that's in pounds.
extra bacon, bacon
Yeah, it's a bacon
pancakes.
on your bacon
Oh, it is in
pancakes.
pounds.
Making bacon pancakes. What's a large super gurns? I'll get the
Soup,
super gurn.
a
I hate
super,
that about breakfast
super green.
places.
I think it's a super green smoothie.
Oh, it is a super green smoothie. You
I
ever
was
go
like,
to a breakfast place and you're starving, but all the big meals are named like the big man's delight? It's like they've always got like cutesy names, and you have to order it. It's like I'll have the big man's delight, please.
yeah, I'll have the horrible person platter,
Yeah, I'll have
like this
the too much
the idiot supreme.
the idiot supreme, the
Like
food.
I'll have
I
I'm a
can't
big
possibly eat this.
stupid idiot for ordering this, and I'm gonna regret it. And I know that this is not what a human being should be eating, but
I'm
I'm doing
sorry.
it anyway.
I'm doing it anyway. I'm really hungry. Um, please don't
Watermelon
talk about me.
smoothie, and it's like, oh, I don't have a Coke. Okay, so
A
they each
Coke.
got a see, this is interesting. This is useful data. They each got a meal, and a smoothie, and also some kind of a hot breakfast, or yeah, a hot beverage, and then someone else got a Coke.
Pot of breakfast tea, a Coke, a latte, a hot chocolate. You've got a lot of stuff going on here. Who gets a hot chocolate at breakfast?
Fabio was the server, I
You got
think.
Fabio as the server.
Bill's Restaurant, so they're in London.
Wait,
Cool.
Fabio from London? Say Fabio in a British accent.
Fabio.
Fabio.
I was like, it doesn't sound like like an offensive. It's not a trick, is it?
No, I mean that's
Fabio. Fabio. Hello. Hello, Gov.
all right. Holy
Hello,
shit. Wow.
Fabio.
Whoa.
Ooh,
Whoa.
you can't do that. Too far.
Too far. Not really. The Brits are cool. We're all half Brit, so you get to say anything you want.
Right. My grandmother is British. Hello.
Oh man.
All right.
Okay, so we scan the bill. Now I feel like that we need a readout of the bill. Unfortunately, you need a text readout. So
We do.
typically in this kind of situation, I would say it's like a call and response thing. So I've asked my little pocket computer to do something. It says it did it, but I need a text readout to make sure that it's not wrong. If that makes
Correct.
sense.
And, you know, we are converting it to text anyway in the back end, right? That's how this stuff works. So that's technically feasible.
Why does the top of this
Sure.
receipt just say restaurant? Like maybe they have a different business out back or something.
The restaurant part.
Food items. What is it? Items? Dishes?
Item works.
Item works. So there's a good point about wireframes. That's where I definitely draw the line in a wireframe. Is like I'm not thinking about what it should say. It's an item. Like that's the technical term.
Yeah, I mean, I don't use lipsum. I'll write like I'll take a stab at what what it's going to say ish.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I try not to get too bogged down in that at this point.
I don't think we need a button for invite friends.
I don't think so.
I think that that's on the screen already. So you've got like your QR code and you've got your room code. Like this stuff is at the bottom of the bill, ready to go.
Yeah, maybe that should like pop up like immediately. Like, okay, everybody, scan this code. When they're done with that, next step is itemize, blah, blah, blah. They open their app to scan it, and then everybody's in this screen. There's a whole bunch of technical fun to be had there. It's almost like, in a way, it's almost like Figma. You're all going to be looking at something at once.
Pancake and syrup with a sub item. I'm typing this whole thing out. I'm terrible. Oh,
Late. Late day. Hold on. I'll take QR stands for, I think it's quick response code.
Okay.
Is that what it means? The code.
Sure. There's a lot going on this panel. So we got to itemize the bill, right?
Yeah.
You're inviting friends to join this room. How do I know who's joined? Does it say on this screen? Like this to me would be sort of the lobby where it's like, okay, your bill is scanned, you're inviting friends, you've confirmed that. Now go. And that's when you get into the two, I guess we'll call them mini games of gather sentiment about the quality of the meal, and actually select your food and drinks, and then gather sentiment about the quality of the meal.
Yep. Uh, so I immediately go to, well, I kind of like immediately go to like how a lot of stuff does it, like Figma. I'll just power it up on the stream here, but like when we add, when
Mm-hmm.
we join our page in Figma, it shows our icons up
Mm-hmm.
in the top corner.
That's similar to
That's
some
kind of
other things
fun.
I've seen with this type of thing.
I mean, Teams
Jackbox.
and Google Docs and all of those do, I think, similar-ish
Yeah,
things.
there's a series of games called Jackbox, and they're kind of like almost sort of like improv games, and you can play them on a single TV, and everybody joins through their phone in a browser with a room code. But when somebody joins, there's this real satisfying like pop and ting, like ding, another person has entered the room, and like you
Oh,
you see an animation and the user count goes up. I don't think we need to do anything like surface people's names or anything, because they're at your table. Like if a mystery person joins to pay your bill, like who fucking cares?
yeah, I think you're right.
I am right,
How
damn
could
it.
a mystery person join anyway? I mean, that would be that's a an edge case to worry about later.
Yeah, but if a mystery person joined and refused to select anything on the bill, like that could cause issues.
I guess. Well, I guess for now we can say like the creator can boot anybody if they see people like. Popping in there. So I think we can
Okay,
also
so wait, we're
potentially
gonna have an
hide.
interface to scan all the users and pick which ones you want to boot.
What's that? No.
I'm just like, so we're gonna build an interface for that?
I think in this view we can hide the QR code up maybe in like the invite area or something, for lack of better words. And then you can, if you want to add, if you want to show it to people, you can click something and bring it up on your screen. Um, I think that's how these guys kind of work. You know what I'm saying?
Show me. Guide me.
Here, I'll.
Guide me by designing this whole thing and explaining it to me as you go.
All right. So we
I
can
hate it.
slide this guy out of here and get. This is this clear. Yeah, this is a user base.
I do agree that they belong up top.
You could even have a. You could even do a fun thing and overlap them if you wanted to. You'd have to add a stroke, I guess.
Okay, so this is a fun wireframe tip. This is probably where you'd want to start to look at multiple states, I would imagine. So, oh, that's so fancy, Ian. Way to go. I'm proud. I love that.
Da da da. 3 people.
Love it.
Then we're gonna draw up. I need a share icon. Continue.
You scan the bill. You land at this page.
I think potentially you either land at this page or the next step is like, I see a state. I'm trying to get a share icon to add up here, or a QR code icon or something that you can. I'm thinking that maybe the next step after this bill gets scanned, it just pops the QR code up, and then that's when you like flash it to your friends. But then you can hit an X, and then at any time from this screen you can tap the QR code button and get that stuff there. So that way that all the invite stuff is in its own area away from this bill zone.
It feels like that's an extra step to find out that it scanned your bill wrong. You know what I mean? Like you scan the bill, then you go through this whole invite process, and then you enter a lobby.
So there's something in between here then.
Something?
Because you can't. How do the friends? Right. Scan the bill. I guess yeah, it could show up here, but then it wouldn't be. The friends aren't added. What am I doing? Copy.
We
Friends
could
aren't added yet.
accordion the bill. Like we could make it significantly smaller, or maybe its own scrollable area.
Is the person... So the bill needs to be verified first before we start I guess picking your stuff.
I don't know if that's like a verifiable. That would make sense to me. I scan a thing to text. I just want to make sure that the text is right before I proceed.
Okay. I think that's fair. Let's run
So
with that.
is it like an am I correct frame?
Yeah, so maybe there's a couple buttons on here that's like continue or rescan or make or edit.
Yeah.
So it's either okay, here's what we just scanned in.
Or
you can either continue, which the next step is if it looks good to you, then you are going to add your friends. If it doesn't look good, then you've got to either rescan it or manually edit it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Either option's viable. I mean, all this stuff is going to flesh itself out, you know, in user testing and, you know, real world scenarios.
Well, yeah. Again, like going back to the words, the words aren't going to matter because you're paying someone who's a copywriter to figure that out.
I need to go. Oops. Icons. Wish we had a good icon database inside.
I mean, we could
Figma
get
automatically.
We could get font awesome rolling on here. Might be good because there's sometimes like we're talking and I'm vamping, and it's because I'm live tracing something that I found in Illustrator to get it over here.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's weird. Like when you go into like, I'm trying to find an icon, and it's a fairly mindless task, but I find it hard to like.
We'll just come up with on the fly.
What the hell is this tiny ass icon?
What the hell is this tiny ass anything? Ian, we are at 10 o'clock. We are at our halfway mark.
Awful. Okay, well, it seems like time to get a break.
Sick of these terrible icons.
I'm sick of these tiny icons.
I need to have a walk. I'm going to take a brisk walk around my neighborhood and have a thought.
You know? All right. Okay, making progress. We're getting into a groove here. Wireframing this out. Let's take a quick break and come back and keep hustling.
Yeah, 3 minutes. We promise this time.
1 minute.
All right, we're back.
And we're back.
We're back in the design zone,
We're
deep
back in
in the
the
trenches of design.
design zone, the UX playground,
What we're doing is
sandbox.
important UX playground. Don't forget to check out our crypto design box. You can
Crypto's
pick that up
huge.
now.
It's gonna explode. Yeah,
It's
so we're
gonna,
back.
have
We're
you heard about this
wireframing.
crypto thing?
I was trying to get and I'm trying to get an icon.
Okay, cool.
That's
Is
fun.
that what you did with your break?
Yeah, I found the perfect icon, and now I'm gonna try and nurture it so it will grow into the size of icon that I demand.
Oh, yes, exactly.
And why is it so thin? I hate everything about this. What is wrong with it? Why does nothing ever work? There we go.
What are you doing?
Just showing people what it's like to work in design. Just swearing at an icon for 10 minutes.
Design's a lot of like chugging along, getting a lot of good work done, having a great day, hitting your deadlines, and then you're like, oh damn, I need to figure out this one icon, and then you spend 3 hours looking at that icon.
Pretty
Design's a lot of
much.
that. Spending 3 hours on something stupid and working late. I just want to have a little instructional text in here.
Yeah.
Look good to you. Take
Looks
a look at your
good.
bill. Blah blah
Ooh,
blah blah blah. Why did you have a third column in here?
I didn't, did I? I don't. If I did, it was
Item cost.
if I
Is there
did,
anything else that would be
one
on a
of us
bill?
copy pasted it by accident. Nah, it's good enough.
What else do we need to capture on here?
That's good enough for now. Cost and
Yeah, you're right.
ding.
For now.
We'll come back to it. We'll circle
Yeah,
back.
totally. We'll just do a bad job and not think about anything. It's fine.
They're paying. They're paying by the hour.
Let's come up with some prices.
Because then we're gonna get to a screen that's people selecting stuff, and then
we have
gonna
to
have a
start
part that shows everybody's totals, and then we get into the super fun part.
Yeah, this is kind of a lobby based experience. So it's you create an event, and the event is the paying of the bill, and you invite people to the event and they join, and then you have your interactivity going.
Oh, the sharing's not on here yet.
No, I think this is just. I think you just have to review your
Yeah,
bill.
you're not.
That's
Now the sharing happens like next part.
it's kind of a clunky process.
I think we can make it clunkier for sure.
It could be clunkier.
Kinda clunky.
I mean, what if,
Man,
what
you
if
want
you
it
had to double
super
opt
clunky?
in and put in your email? Oh, you want clunky? What about
Only
sign up for my
kinda.
free ebook before you pay for your receipt?
Just pay with your email address.
Are you already logged into PayPal? You're 2 taps away from this being over.
You know what's a funny experience? That's kind of the opposite of like the free ebook world is some of these bigger software companies now that you have to contact a salesperson in order to even like get a demo.
Oh,
And it's
that's a
like
no-go.
if your your email address goes into like an algorithm and you get like you get prioritized based on like how much revenue, how much money they think you're worth. So
Mm-hmm.
I've worked jobs before where my email address wasn't worth enough money for them to even like contact me. Like I was trying to ask them some questions about like their product, and they told me they
Oh,
basically said like no. I
that's
forget the way they
hilarious.
did it, but they didn't just ignore me. Some people just ignore you, and other people will just they figure out a sales way to tell you that you're not allowed to buy their product because you're not you don't have enough clout. Your domain name isn't valuable enough.
Wow. That's a data-driven approach.
Yeah, just wait till it's like you're not allowed to like buy bread because your social score is too low.
Finally. Finally, we can all be held accountable based on our social prowess.
I mean, yeah. What have you got to lose if you're a, decent member of society, right? I
Well,
kid.
people have impetus then, right? I want to be part of the cool person club. Much like every episode of Black Mirror that's ever been filmed.
Black Mirror.
It's a good show. It was
I
always
like it.
good.
It's yeah, it scares me.
It scares me because it's real.
So I don't know how room codes might work. Let's just try this.
Yeah, it's that would actually be a lot of characters. I think you could probably get away with 4 if you did letters and numbers. How many combinations of letters and numbers? And letters and single numbers are there?
74 billion. I don't know. What's the answer?
I don't know, man. I'm reading things. I can't tell if it's right. I could just spout an answer.
But yeah, it doesn't matter. Facts aren't really important anymore.
It's in the permutations are in the hundreds of thousands. I think it might be like off the chain.
Yeah, it has to be.
But that's fine. You have 6 digits. That's great.
I mean, we'll have to circle back with Dev anyway, see what they think. They're going to come back with some reason why none of this will work anyway. It's like, you idiot, did you consider? It's like, actually, no, this is mostly what we're coming up with, I think, is entirely like technically feasible, right? Like,
Right
I know
now,
that's not
yeah.
it's not the point of the show necessarily, but
No, there's nothing about this
doable.
that isn't technically feasible. The
There's a lot of normal
server
shit.
infrastructure, the server infrastructure behind getting people connected to the same event and stuff is would be kind of nuts. There's a lot of information on a bill that I don't want to record on here, but there is other stuff. Like subtotals and your tax. This seems to have like a 12.5% service charge.
Oh,
but in Canada, that would be different. Like there's stuff in there that would need to be thought about.
I pulled a terrible image. Yeah, that's got a tip already included because this is from like the UK. But who cares?
Where they just pay people like a reasonable living. I actually don't know if that's true or not.
I don't either. Yeah, but maybe. I don't think it's worse than here. Room code. I like room code. It's got like a video game feel to it. I can't even move a. This is design, folks. It's like, why can't I center some text?
No, you're doing it the wrong way. You got to use the align tool.
It's just like CSS. It's like, why won't this work?
It seemed like it was supposed to work. I thought about it all day long, and then I did it, and it just didn't work.
Invite table guests. I like that verbiage, Nick.
Thank you.
You say it doesn't matter. And you write the most beautiful poetry.
Your UI language is poetry. Invite table guests.
Microcopy.
Click to read more.
You're a microcopywriter.
Oh, really?
So I'm seeing as
honestly.
So I kind of see this thing as now like you've kind of moved into. I'm gonna zoom out on the stream a bit so people can see what we've got here. So I'm still like thinking out loud a bit, trying not to get too far ahead of myself. but I see this as like, yeah, this is the next step, but technically this is kind of, if you hit that X, once you hit that X, like it drops down or does a thing, and then you're back on this screen where I'm gonna have to copy this. We'll have to copy it over. Now you're,
Oh,
I've
okay.
jumped ahead a step again too. Or maybe we're kind of assuming that your friends have joined, but then you kind of go from here. You can jump back between these two by hitting this
Yeah.
share button. It'll pop this back up again. You can add more table guests or flash the room code or get them to scan this. And then, all right, you good? Cool. Close it. Back on the
Okay.
screen. You know, in case you don't get everyone, in case not everyone gets in for some reason, lets you get back to the QR, lets you get back to the invite thing.
Or one thing I would say is that should be reflected here as well.
I agree. Yeah. As they do it in real time, I guess. Yeah. They
Get
should
rid of
be
the
they should
settings
be
icon.
flying
Doesn't
in.
belong in here at all. That area where I put the settings icon is actually kind of wrong because, well, totally wrong. On an iPhone, you would have the time and your battery meter and stuff, and so those
Oh
aren't
yeah.
really accessible. You do need to think about them because your shit will scroll underneath it or whatever, and the time's still going to render on top of it. But
Yeah, shit will scroll. That is a very good point. Okay. You know, and you could do a cool like animation or something as people get added. I don't know. They could like
yeah, I'm sort of thinking about that because again, it is like a lobby experience. Like you got to get like pating. You also need to have a readout of how many people are joined. So, I mean, say there was 25 people at your table, you would cap that at maybe 5.
Yep.
Um,
Yes, and then you'd
and
have like
then
you'd have like a,
plus.
yeah, would you have plus whatever or like the total number? Another detail to,
Interesting.
you know what I mean? What do you want to know out
Well,
of that? Do you want to know,
I think you still have to reflect it somewhere else. Like,
you'd have to be able
oh,
to,
this is tough. What if your
now we're
bill was
going,
really long? Then that needs to be a scrollable area.
yes.
And again, we're into that thing of like, are you designing or are you wireframing? And it's tough because we're dealing with the real estate of a mobile screen. Um, you have to think about what's going to be able to fit on there. Like you have to. You have the expertise of knowing how big that screen is and what it's like to work on it. And
So yeah,
so maybe that's like a scroll or something.
yeah, that has to be a scrolly. That can scroll inside of there.
We might be able to save a little room if we do
Yeah.
like a forward backward thing.
Yeah, I think that's totally good. Totally good.
Totally good and cool.
Real good.
Right good.
Right, good.
Right good, bud.
Right, good, buddy. Looking right good. Looking some good.
We live in a
Right,
place where
good.
people talk like that. Just just for all the listeners missing context on that one. So that could potentially save us some room.
Got rid of yeah, divided we got twice as much space out of it now.
And we could also make that a scrollable area.
You could actually like prototype these. Probably spend 2 hours doing only that. Prototyping how these like, you could probably have it so like they kind of like appear on the screen or something and then like zoom up and then shrink down. It's like whoop.
Can you animate it?
You can kind of, you can animate in the sense, I think, in Figma that like if you take one object in one frame and then in the next frame it's a different shape, it'll transition it for you. So you can kind of make stuff look like it's animating a little bit. I think it's called, I mean, probably do that next. It's a whole friggin' ball game in its own.
Oh.
But yeah, you can make stuff like accordions, and you can make stuff, yeah, look like it's expanding and animating open. I don't know if you'd call it animation. There's probably a word that describes it. More like a transition.
Yeah, I
I know
would
a
say
transition
transition usually
animates, but
captures it.
yeah, but you know, calling it an animation, I think makes it sound like you can do a lot more than you can. Make a cartoon. Animate a cartoon.
Someone's done it. You see pictures on Twitter of people who like painted perfect looking portraits in Figma, and it's like, okay, good God. This needs a cancel button on it, I guess. Huh.
So we need this here, right? Although, indeed.
Right? I'm trying to vocalize my thought process on this one. There's just a lot. There's a lot going on. There's a right answer for this.
I mean, we need to make this. I mean, we're gonna bring ourselves back into a view of the itemized, the items, right? It just has to be in a format that people can um, select it, I guess.
Hmm.
I
And
mean,
this ain't that. Should there just be a step that's like is there a step where you just confirm, like, does this look good to you? Okay, cool. And then you're into the inviting and the selecting and the whatnot experience. And as soon
yeah,
as you land,
yeah, the buttons are the same, right? Like it's still like rescan or continue.
yeah, yeah.
And continue, it's like, okay, good, we're ready to do it. Invite your guests. And actually, even though you can hit the X to close this, I think this should have a CTA that says like done or continue or next or something to signify, like to, you know, to help kind of push people along. Done, probably done.
Okay.
So, I mean, then there's, you know, it's going to be this, but it's just not quite going to be that.
What? So, okay, let's walk through the steps here. You scan your bill, you get a readout of your bill, you confirm that. Then you're in a lobby where you can invite your friends and select who's paying for what.
Yes.
So I would see that as almost a version of this bill screen where you've confirmed it, and now the layout is shifting so that people can select things.
Yes, it's going to have to be some affordances there. So we're going to have bigger tappable things. Probably have to separate these things out.
And for the purposes of a wireframe, I was thinking maybe we could just use like radio buttons.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes enough sense.
Yes. So at what point we're going to invite the friends. I can already imagine a bunch of issues of like, what if you select the wrong thing? We'll come back to that too.
Everyone should get a color.
Yep. Yeah. And that should be reflective of your. So we haven't invited people yet.
No, but this is the screen where that happens. Both the selecting and the like readout of who's joined. So that's where we get this in here.
So we have to invite, I think we have to invite the people first. Then we're here, right?
Oh, okay. Yep. I see what you're saying. Yep. That solves most of it.
Yeah.
This is a panel, though, that exists on this page. So we need to get your icon back. Did I delete that? Oh, no.
That's over there. Yeah. So we need that. Because yeah, technically you could be in this state and there be 0 other people added except yourself, I suppose. That's kind of another tech. There's a finer detail that we probably don't need to answer right now, but something that we would have to figure out is like, is your own picture up here as part of the thing or not? Probably.
Well, I would expect too. I need to be able to. So we're showing an extreme example of like 4 plus 12, like 16 people at a meal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna want to be able to tap that list and see who's here.
Absolutely. Yeah. That takes us
So
into
maybe
a
they're. I mean,
whole
they don't
other
need to be.
ball
Yeah, that
game.
is a completely other conversation that could probably encompass one entire show.
Yeah, like it's almost like in the meeting, like a meeting invite, or like in Microsoft Teams. I guess they're all the same. You can click to see the participants, or in Zoom, and you can like boot them or mute them or do stuff to them. Send them an award.
How do
Send them
we
some diamonds, some tip diamonds.
normally, as a user, I would want some solid confirmation when somebody joined, but maybe. I mean, you're sitting at a table with these people. There's a self-policing aspect to the entire thing where you can just look over and be like, "Did you download this giant app? This ridiculously huge app for no reason? It's like 2.5 gigs, you know?"
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, we
so
want some cool stuff happening. Like yes, I think you could even have it like when somebody joins it, like it like interrupts everything. It's like an interstitial type thing that kind of
my
drops down onto the screen and it's like spins around a few times and then it like shoots up into the corner. I don't know why I'm obsessed with that shooting up into that corner. Seems like it would be fun.
well, some sort of animation, but there's other things here. I guess you're right. We don't need to obsess over them forever, but like
But we
those
can if we
icons,
want to.
those icons need words associated with them. When somebody joins, there needs to be language that says somebody joined. So as much as there's like this, sort of animation and stuff like that, like what are the other factors at play? And you're groaning, just like stop taking this. Who cares?
We can do
And I
whatever we
get
want.
that. We can do whatever we want. Making a little interstitial here when somebody joins.
This is the process.
I don't even think this is right. I don't know if halting the user's experience every time someone joins is right, but
No,
it
it isn't.
illustrates the concept maybe. No, it's totally not. Like I don't
None of
want
this,
that.
none of this is right. This app shouldn't exist at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is you know, this is a lesson of
Of
not
what?
just, you know, you can't just follow any idea. You have
Yeah,
to consider,
don't just pick
like what
some
it's
stupid idea.
the users, you know, it, does anybody want to do any of this? Of course not.
No,
That's
people
not the
don't want to
point.
use apps. That's the whole problem with apps is that they don't really want to use them. I guess I'll take that one. Sorry, I'm just stealing an icon from some unnamed source. Object, image trace, make. There you go.
Make image trace. Boop, boop, boop. Share. That's a sharing icon. Sure. Oh, that's nice. That's what I've been looking for this whole time.
Really?
Well, not, or that's what I've been wanting. I didn't try and look for it. Takes too damn long.
I know. I
Find
hate
an
typing
icon.
words into that friggin' thing. I hate typing words into DuckDuckGo.
DDG. I
DDG,
need to just call it
baby.
duck. Actually, I think
Hey
that might
man.
be a thing.
Hey man, you want the duck?
I think I just, oops. I think I just exploded the Figma window for a second on the stream.
That's okay. This is like the
Oops.
least amount of technical issues we've ever had. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Damn it.
Yeah, I just looked up at my internet connection as soon as you said that. It's good though. We're powering through. Ian has joined.
The proper way to do that is you would need an X button here, but you just sort of click away. Or this is an interstitial animation. So like ENC has joined and it rolls up and lists a little bit and then fades back down.
Yeah.
You know that one? The rise up and roll a little bit and then fade away. I call that one the neck brunt. I just made it up right now.
The NB.
Nobody's done that one.
Rolls around.
Yeah, so we'll give this a playful tilt.
Fun. Nice.
And if you wanted to get hyper expressive, I mean, again, you normally end up talking about this stuff is some sort of directional arrow, describing how it worked or whatever. So ENC joined the lobby. This is got to go down here. This needs to get off of this line. Those people are in there. I mean, maybe it would be worth, while we're sitting here, to just zoop that one over and at least take a look at the interface to see people that have joined your room. Do you know what the shortcut for a rectangle tool is in Figma?
R?
It's R. So we should hold on. Let's put this in the video so that Google Answers in the future will cut this out, right? And
you're thinking about SEO of like voices. That's advanced.
Future SEO, like
hold on,
voices, AI people that don't even exist. So, okay.
I'm going to move some stuff around. Hold on a sec. So it fits on the screen. Just deselect that for a minute.
This is really, you're ruining my UX.
How's this
experience? Ouch, my UX.
It's like, haha, trying to design. Imagine.
It's me, the design
in a meeting.
One. Oh man,
trolling.
We should all have a fake email address just so you can do that in a meeting.
I shouldn't. Yeah, I shouldn't anonymously invite you to like a Figma file that I'm working on or something.
I call myself Designer X, and nobody knows who I am. Join icon. Okay, so yeah, so back to before, we do need some sort of interface and maybe a standard column measurement, but we do need some sort of interface to let people know who's in their list of table guests.
Mm-hmm.
Not me. I mean, I already just paid the guy and I left. I was like, how much? And they're like, 20. And I was like, here's 23. Thank you so much.
See ya. Smell you later.
Wouldn't want to be ya. And he's like, I just served you food. And I'm like, later, dick.
No, I said, smell you later.
No,
he didn't.
No, laugh. Actually, I said, smell you later.
Did you hear me?
Did you hear me? Did you hear that joke?
Did you hear that one?
My table guests.
I mean, I guess the good part about this is this wouldn't work well for like anonymous internet friends, but if you're together dealing with a bill,
it's built around
the hassle of like worrying about other people selecting your items can be, that's going to be a discussion. It's like, oh, who had the what? Oh, I had the, you should know what you ordered. Shut up.
But everybody does that anyway, over the chat. And yeah, if you don't know what you ordered or how much it costs, you're brutal.
Yeah, go on with you.
Go on with you.
Whatever that means. Get out of here.
Go away. Go on.
All right.
It probably came back from like when there was a time it was like, go on with you. And you just had to go down into the mine for a week.
It's like, oh, it was like a real bill. You didn't, you wanted to avoid it. You didn't
go on with you.
So I had an avocado.
I'm gonna get a list of random names. List of random full names. All right, you ready to hear them? Skylar Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
Seamus Suarez. Warren Camacho. Princess Gomez.
All right.
Tristan Martinez. So a lot of these are pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
There's a okay, hold on. There's a quality meter on here. I'm gonna jack it all the way.
Or what's the quality of these names that we've been given? High?
Let's rerun it. Okay, that works. These are fine.
For every screen we design, it creates 5 other states for these screens that we have to figure out in the future. That's okay. That's what keeps the bills paid, and that's why this stuff takes a long time. But as I'm selecting this, I'm just thinking like, okay, from my perspective, I'm making these selections. But then if someone else is looking at the same screen, the treatment graphically, is it going to be different? Like, will it get kind of like grayed out for them? I don't want to gray it out for me because I'm selecting it, but you know what I mean? So maybe it bolds for me.
So I've been humming and hawing over this. Well, we can do different textiles. I've been kind of like, how do we, because this is part of the game experience, right? Like picking what you paid for is part of the game experience. So maybe it's a matter of like crossing them out with fun wiggly lines. Maybe each person has a color, and your sort of scratch through line in the graphic is your color. So you get this really quick visual guide of like, okay, here's who paid for what. That's problematic. Colors are really bad guide, but I don't like Google does it. It's immaterial.
Yeah, we can do it.
What do you want me to
What do you want me to do about it?
do?
We got my subtotal. So now we're kind of getting into this area of like, what do we show here? My subtotal.
Oh,
Do we show like
that belongs down here. I think like associated with you and your controls.
because as I select things, that's gonna change.
Yeah, totally.
It's like,
And
oh
it's
yeah, okay, I
big and
spent
apparent.
this much money. What are these things?
I don't know. Nubbins? App nipples?
Speakers. They're the phone speakers, Ian.
They were nipples. They were honest to God nipples. Make that very large. So that should be inherent, but that value needs to be separated from this experience because here's what I'm interacting with. This list of things up here. Here is the result of that interaction, and to me, those are two different pieces that have different weights to the user.
Okay.
So you're right. As you're adding and subtracting and things, it's this value is changing. You can see this value down here changing, and that has sort of like a, like an emotional effect. Like, how much was it? How much did this cost? What have I done to myself?
Oh, frig. Why was this latte £7.95? It's the most expensive latte that I can imagine. Latte?
Ian, these are wireframes, and wireframes don't include final copy. The copy in these wireframes is arbitrary and should not be viewed as final product copy.
That sounds very official.
That's what I do with my clients. I just wanted to let you know that these wireframes are not official, nor do they represent an official design of your website that we produce. My subtotal. All right, that's in place.
You get to put the ping. You put that.
I don't think that we should start to surface in here what your tip percentage might be. That's
oh no, we have no idea how to do that yet.
No, you have to
we're
answer
nowhere
the second
near.
question.
We're not even anywhere near the tip part of this yet. God, have our tip calculator? Oh no.
We actually have next week aside to graphic design this, and I kind of feel like we could probably just continue fleshing it out and get to the same place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So there's another state here at play that we weren't really talking about was the host versus a guest.
Host,
like
yeah, okay.
So if you're hosting the event, in some regard, like your UI's got to be different. It has to be. What's up with my camera?
You have to have some kind of privileges over other people, like administrative privileges to like change things, add and remove people. Probably, that probably takes us into like settings of, do you want to allow other people to invite? That doesn't even make any sense. Anyway.
Well, maybe. What if you're a streamer? What if you're a Twitch streamer and you want to get people in as a table guest?
Maybe. I think we're gonna have to punt that one over to the research team to collect some more data.
Data, fine. Just wing it, man. Just go for it. That wind in your hair? Make it whatever you want. That's my design rule of the web. Just make it whatever you want.
It should be what you want.
It's really more about what you want.
Design the app that you want to see in the world. That's what I always say.
It's like people, how do I get started in design? Design any app.
Yeah. Create a Dribble account and just make the sexiest weather app you can.
Yeah, you want to make it just completely like completely, you can't program it, totally dense. I actually, those dribble designs are all very gorgeous, but once you work with the production team, it becomes apparent as to why that's so difficult.
Yeah, I think it's probably a lot
If
of
you had the
like,
best, if you had the best front end person, sky's the limit. Really is. I mean, I know back end is a huge thing. It's monstrously important. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying the ratio to like front end UI developers versus like back end, systems people, CMS people, is crazy. There's nobody around doing really good sort of front end stuff. Wait, hold on. I'm saying nobody. I got to clarify. It's hard to find people that do really good front end. Is that
dev,
okay? Does that one land?
dev or design.
Dev.
Yeah, yeah, it's there's a lot. I think, and so much like I guess front end too. It's like cleanliness of code and like speed. That's always
Mm-hmm.
like a thing. I
Mm-hmm.
zoomed in on the screen. Gonna need to get some front end designers soon. If anyone's watching,
Oh God.
that's a front end designer
Do you need a front end
of
design job?
sorts.
Contact Ian. It's 100% remote. Benefits through the roof. Nothing but benefits.
Only benefits.
Only benefits. Table gas. Kick, 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 kick. Okay, so that's at least a basic interface so that I can click in and see who's actually joined. We're never going to be able to make sure that everybody joined. There is a thing on your slip, or at least this Bill's receipt that said guests, 3 guests. I don't think that super matters here. Again, you're at the table with these people, you're going to know.
Yeah, it's everyone's gonna be in. I mean, this is an area. I think this is a scenario where we'd like. This is where I do like cheat user testing, where I just kind of test it internally a little bit, like
Mm-hmm.
prototype it, send it out, and just like, does this like, can we like review this, and does it make sense to you?
I do. I have a little user testing cheat, little user testing hack. You don't ever do it. You don't ever do it because it wasn't in the budget and nobody's paying for it. Testing.
That's the common approach for sure. It doesn't matter. It looks good to me. That's it's one of the approaches. I think they call it HIPPO,
Mm-hmm.
which means highest paid person in the room's opinion.
Nah,
To make sure that those add up, but it's I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
brutal.
You know,
I had a run-in with someone like that not too long ago.
it's kind of like when
I'm just
like
putting in
the
some.
VP or the CEO that's you've probably never met before just kind of swoops into a meeting. It's like I like that. It's like whoa,
Whoa, you're
you
kind
what?
of blowing up months of work here. Oh, no big deal.
Or it's like I've heard this in the past. It's like we need to make it easy to use. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, that's why we're
oh,
here.
that's brilliant. No wonder you're the CEO. That's brilliant. I'm not talking
That's
about my current employer,
one
by the way.
100%. That's like that's
Just in
that's
case
like
someone's
playing. You're
like, oh,
you show up for your first day of what? Sorry, we're talking over each other. That was my fault, by the way, entirely.
no, I think I was just trying to add some sound effects in the background.
No, okay, I understand. It was pretty good. I don't want to say it was bad. I just want to get on the same page, and that's what this is about: removing ambiguity. So I'll just copy that panel over there. I just wanted to have a state where it was like things are selected now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect.
Select them. I hardly knew him.
So this is the empty. Then we need one where I've selected some things, and then when we need the other view, other people have selected everything. And then there needs to be some kind of like, does everybody have to like hit like I'm done, like tap out before the moderator, for lack of better words, the owner of this can, before we get to the next part? Because we got to make
Like
every item has to be accounted for, right? To be
every
able to
item on the bill.
proceed.
So you can't the app just simply won't let you proceed until every item's accounted for.
Does it
So
make sense to like to hit like when you've selected your things, like I'm going through,
like
like
lock it in, like
yeah, and
a
then be like I'm done,
confirmation.
and that way, does that make sense?
That's a tough one. Yes, but it
Probably.
doesn't really serve any purpose for the user other than like it's a feel good thing. Like, okay, I know for sure I'm done.
Yeah, I almost think that might be worthwhile in that, like, what do I do now? Like, how do I know? Like, just making sure that they know that they're finished what they're supposed to do. Done.
I think there's a go button that only becomes opaque,
Yeah,
you know,
when
when
everything's
you're ready
done.
to go. And guests have the same button, but it's to lock in their selection,
Gotcha.
if that makes sense. And like I don't even know where on this interface to put, because normally like if somebody locked in their selection and you wanted to perhaps notify other users that they were, or sorry, if progressing and can for whether or not it's like a check mark or a something or something. I think we should maybe duck back to this one next week though. What do you think? Although we want to do that UX review thing, we're talking about
Yeah,
potentially
well,
doing that this weekend.
I think there's plenty to go. Yeah, I think we're on a good tear here. So there's definitely more to explore.
I think if we were to come back to it, we'd be like, oh, it needs to do this and this and this and that.
Yeah,
And we're coming up on 2 hours, so I just kind of wanted to.
it's almost time to go. We're at a good spot. We got ourselves through. We started walking ourselves through the process, and as we go, we realize more details that we need to figure out. And that's just more hours to
Well,
bill to our fake clients, and more fun we
obviously
have for
we're
us.
planning a way too complicated app here, um, but we're getting through it. I mean, you can see like where the problems arise though. Like things seem really simple on the outside. I click a button, a thing happens, and it tells me a thing happened, but um, what happens if it didn't happen, or what happens if the user inputted something wrong? Is there a back button? Is there an X button? Like these are all the kinds of things that you end up getting caught on for weeks because before it goes into a $500,000 design or a development cycle, you want to make sure that those things are all sound. So that's, I guess, what we're doing here with the wireframes. End of rant.
End of rant. Yeah, we're
That's
working
all
it
the
out.
gas I got.
Yep, same. Great work. Very productive. We got there, and
Any
yeah,
actionable items?
we're gonna
Maybe we'll talk at stand up tomorrow.
yeah we'll have a scrum.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out what we're doing. Yeah. So anyway, thanks, folks. Make sure you smash that like button. Really appreciate that, and don't forget to subscribe because, like we said, we're gonna we're experimenting with some new ideas here, and you don't want to miss it. We might do a UX review of some sites. Maybe they'll be your favorite local business or your worst enemy. We don't know yet. But
Well,
if you have ideas of what you'd like to see us review, maybe it's something you're curious about online or a great or terrible experience you've had and you want us to weigh in on it. Or maybe you are a business yourself and you want a free UX critique
mm-hmm.
by a couple of professionals with a friendly demeanor. You know what to do. Hit us up in the comments. You can email us at thehithereshow@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and shout us out there at Hi There Tweets. Am I missing anything?
I think those are our
I
only
kind of
two
just rolled
links.
into
We're
that. You
keeping it
usually do
small
that
at the
part.
moment. No, you did great. It was perfect. I loved it. Sorry, I had my body going because I was like, I'm into this. I'm feeling it. You got that broadcaster flow.
Outro.
Outro. Yep, that's it. Thanks so much. Bye forever. Bye forever until next week when we have more of this. Thank you so much for listening.
That's it. Thanks. See you soon. And we're off.